The bell's gone for jockeys to get up ahead of our third race on the card, the Racing TV Handicap, Class 6 event over 7 furlongs. And then shot at the moment is one who's coming for support, Eddie, Nick Vedder, Ryan Sexton claiming the 3 for Robin Brisland.
Yeah, he's getting old now, he's 9, but he's still a fair operator when he gets his conditions, and his conditions are a strongly run race to be seen at his best. And he flew home to be third here over course and distance, a little way behind Twilight Revenge, who won the race, and ran well again over a longer trip at Wolverhampton. I think the 11 furlongs here did stretch him last time. Back to a more suitable trip. He should go well.
Now, this race has been headed up by 2 horses in the market who are maidens. That includes the 0 from 17 maiden number 5. That's Dashing Rat, who looks for, well, a first success. And to be honest, last time he was backed off the boards to do it, and he didn't.
No, he ran well here behind Rueful. It's hampered in near the finish, would have finished closer to Rueful that day, and if Rueful had run, would have had a big weight pull. The next run was disappointing given that he was market leader, but it was a decent enough effort. Similar race to today, slightly higher class if anything, and he is going to the start. Oh, that's not him going to the start, that's Divine Messenger going to the start. He's a horse who's had many chances, but this does seem to be the best course and distance for him, certainly on recent evidence.
It's a course and distance that number 9 Magic in the Making knows well and has been effective on as well, just not for a little bit of a while.
Yeah, she's another old 9-year-old, and she's not been in quite at her best recently. She was in good form last year, but she hasn't quite recaptured that and has a little bit to find with the principals on their running, well, Twilight Revenge and Nick Vedder certainly on their running here 2 outings ago. A respectable run back at 6 furlongs last time when she had a wide draw. She's probably better on this track and the 7th furlong these days.
What about the claims of number 4, Forever Dreaming, who is just about to head off down the walkway for Rod Millman, Ross Orion, and is unexposed now, dropping into handicap level?
Indeed, and tried to win last time in a race where the pace rather collapsed. So charged up to lead early on and paid for it in the closing stages. Had a fight with Dubai Imo and they both dropped away. That wasn't a bad effort. You'd think a little bit more would be needed in a handicap. Ross Orion looks a good booking. The others have got plenty of negatives. All the exposed horses, and this one hasn't yet. Cheekpiece has tried for the first time.
And the last one in is A Day in the Life. It's a welcome back to the track for him, for Mark Usher and Rhys Clutterbuck. 275 days since finishing down the field here over a mile.
Yeah, he'd won at Lingfield the time before that over a mile. There may be a mile's his trip, and perhaps he'd be going up towards that next time. Maybe he looked fine with the slightly better, well, the apparently better fancied Twilight Revenge in the race for the same stable.
The other fancied horse at the top who's looking to get off the mark, belatedly, Sense of Security, and we'll catch up with Sense of Security and the rest down at the start.
Class 6 over 7 furlongs, and Dashing Rat, the 2-1 favourite. Ahead of Sense of Security, 7-2. Twilight Revenge, a 4-1 chance, solid at that price. And Nick Vedder at 5-1, and it's a bit of a jump to the others, 12-1 for Magic in the Making. And Kempton Con, 20-1, 22-1, and bigger the rest. At the track for us today, Anthony Dunkley and Eddie Fremantle, and we can join them with the runners down at the start, Anthony.
This is trappy, Rachel. Very trappy indeed. As you would expect with two horses at the top of the market, Eddie, who are yet to win in Dashing Rat and Sense of Security. Would you be looking elsewhere?
Well, I'd be tempted to look elsewhere, certainly. There's another problem with the race is a lack of obvious pace. Horses like Nick Vedder, Caponanti Con probably need a pace to run at. Maybe Sense of Security will try and get to the front. Hasn't always looked very tractable, but since the recent wind operation, that may have made a difference for her. Dashing Rat's another one who doesn't want to be played too early. He sits in mid-division generally. So we're not quite sure where the pace is going to come from, which makes it even more tricky. I wouldn't be surprised to see Magic in the Making go forward from stall 5 with David Probert on, and she does have the speed for 6, even though she seems to get 7 fine round here.
Course and distance form is always something to consider when you're looking at horses in this type of grade. Twilight Revenge has that as recently as 2 starts ago.
Yeah, and that rather came out of the blue. It was quite a surprise result, and she had shown a little bit the time before over a mile here, and she wasn't able to back up the run on a return visit 10 days later. And I suppose it's significant that she's been off 5 or 6 weeks since that second effort, which wasn't up to the form of the first. So she's got a good chance to bounce back, but she's priced up as though she's going to, and I feel that from that form, Nick Vedder, who was close behind her, probably represents a bit more value, because forget the last run over the wrong trip, but he's put in a good performance since he met Twilight Revenge before.
Not too many to go forward now, just a couple left to go, and it looks like Caponanti Con.
He'd be one I couldn't rule out, you know. I thought he ran all right at Lingfield the last twice. He doesn't run here very often, but if you go back far enough, he's got some form at this track.
Let's get up to Mike ahead of this next.
Caponanti Con is the last one to go in here. Ready now, set, and they're off. 7 furlongs ahead of them. Caponanti Con will be dropped in the grey as they race down the back straight with this Racing TV handicap, and Forever Dreaming has got the inside rail position. Right up there, Sense of Security in the maroon, taking a bit of a strong hold. Dashing Rat is tracking them on the inside, pale blue yellow spots, alongside Magic in the Making in the red and blue. A Day in Our Life just shuffled along briefly there behind Nick Vedder, who's just preceding him. And then comes Divine Messenger's Black Sleeves. A couple of lengths away then to Twilight Revenge, who's a length clear then of Caponanti Con the Grey, who's still under restraint at the back of the field. Racing down then towards the halfway point, on the run towards the turn, into the home straight. Forever Dreaming and Ross Orion the leaders, but Sense of Security and Trevor Whelan only about a neck down as they range round and straighten up for the judge. 2 lengths away back in third is Magic in the Making, followed then by Dashing Rat in the pale blue jacket, now shaken up. Divine Messenger trying to get on terms, so too is Nick Vedder as they race past the 2 furlong marker on the near side. Magic in the Making has struck the front for David Probert, and she's beginning to draw clear here. She's got a good track record. She's being chased down by Sense of Security in the yellow cap behind them, with Nick Vedder running on as well, but Magic in the Making has got this all sewn up as she races up towards the line. Magic in the Making is going to hold on by a length from Nick Vedder, and then Sense of Security and the running on Dashing Rat on the inside next.
She's done it again at Kempton. Magic in the Making wins, and pops up at a big price. That's not the first time it's happened, Eddie, and probably won't be the last time either. She tends to be unconsidered when she actually gets her act together.
Yeah, I think the race was suited her, the pace of the race suited her. They couldn't go very hard initially, and Forever Dreaming, the young horse, took them along. And Sense of Security was a bit keen, and that probably cost her. Magic in the making has this pace for 6. She was able to sit just behind the leaders and pounce in the straight, and the closers never got into it. Horses like Nick Vedder was beginning to cut her back, but wasn't good enough. Dashing Rat half flattered again. He travelled quite well into the race, and he's now 0 from, 26? You'll be able to tell me. Is it 26 now? He has Dashing Rat, but
Dashing Rat.
Whereas Magic in the Making does win races, and this was a race where well ridden and was able to sit off a relatively steady pace. Sensible Security's run well considering her keenness in the closing stages, but she just, I think, has she just held on for second or got swallowed up by Nick Vedder? Just grabbed her near the line, didn't he? And he didn't quite do anything quickly enough. He had a wide draw to contend with. Nick Vedder drawn 9, and that's cost him a bit of ground on the early bends, whereas the winner in 5 was able to sit, going well behind the steady pace set by Forever Dreaming.
I thought at this stage I wasn't necessarily expecting them in a furlong or so's time to be as spaced out as they were. Just suddenly there was an injection which probably helped the winner.
Yes, I suppose so. I think that Caponanti Con's been put to sleep at the back. Twilight Revenge niggled initially. She hasn't come